Procrastination is a silent thief. It does not come crashing through the door. It does not announce itself with alarms. It sneaks into your day quietly. One moment you sit down with the full intention to get something important done. The next you are lost in scrolling, checking, wandering, and convincing yourself that you will start in just 5 more minutes. Those minutes stretch into hours, the hours into days, and before you know it, another week has vanished into the void. I lived in that cycle for years, and it drained my energy, my confidence, and my future. But one strange discovery shifted everything for me. It was not a new app, a time management system, or a motivational video. It was a weird trick, so simple that at first I dismissed it. Yet the moment I tried it, procrastination lost its grip on me. To understand the power of this trick, you must first understand what procrastination truly is. Many people think procrastination is laziness. That is not true. Laziness means you do not care to act. Procrastination, on the other hand, is the deep desire to act mixed with the inability to begin. You want to do the task. You think about it constantly. You feel guilty when you avoid it, and yet you hesitate. Why? Because procrastination is not about time. It is about emotion. At its core, procrastination is the attempt to escape the discomfort of starting. Every task carries with it a cloud of resistance. That resistance whispers in your mind, "It will be hard. It will be boring. It will take too long. What if I fail?" Your brain reacts by seeking comfort in easier activities, and you call it procrastination. This is where the weird trick comes in. One day, I stumbled upon a concept so straightforward that I almost laughed at it. The idea was this: tell yourself that you only need to work for 2 minutes. That is it. No pressure to finish the project. No requirement to spend an hour, just 2 minutes of action. It sounded ridiculous. How could 2 minutes fight against years of delay? But I decided to test it. I remember sitting at my desk with a task I had been avoiding for a week: writing a report. Normally, I would circle around it endlessly, finding reasons to clean my room, check my emails, or scroll through videos. But this time, I said to myself, I will just open the document and write 1 sentence. Just 2 minutes. Something shifted. The task did not feel threatening anymore. It felt laughably small, almost too easy to resist. I opened the document. I wrote a sentence. Then another. When I looked up, 45 minutes had passed. The weird trick worked because it bypassed the emotional wall of resistance. Here is the psychology behind it. Your brain is a master at exaggerating the pain of beginning. It turns a single step into a mountain. But when you reduce the task to something tiny, the brain cannot fight it. It is too small to resist. You trick yourself into starting. And once you start, momentum takes over. The hardest part of any task is the beginning. After that, the energy of progress pulls you forward. The 2-minute rule is like a lever that shifts you out of paralysis into motion. The first time this worked, I thought it was a coincidence. But I kept applying it. Each time I faced a task I dreaded, I whispered the same command to myself: just 2 minutes. Every time, the same thing happened. I began small. I continued naturally, and before I knew it, procrastination had vanished. It did not die in a dramatic explosion. It withered quietly, starved of excuses. Think about how often procrastination fools you. You tell yourself, "I will do it when I feel ready." But readiness never comes. You tell yourself, "I will start when I have more time." But time slips away. The truth is that you do not need more time. You need less fear. And the 2-minute trick removes fear because it asks for almost nothing. It lowers the entry cost to action until resistance has no power. There is another reason this trick works so well. It builds identity. Every time you take even the smallest action, you prove to yourself that you are the kind of person who takes action. You start to believe it. Procrastination weakens your identity by making you feel powerless. The 2 Minute Rule strengthens it by giving you constant evidence that you are capable. Day by day, your self-image shifts from a procrastinator to a doer. Let me give you a concrete example. I once had a friend who wanted to start exercising but could never build the habit. Every day he told himself he would go for a 1-hour workout, and every day he found a reason to avoid it. I shared the 2-minute trick with him. I told him, forget the 1 hour. Just put on your workout clothes and do 1 push-up. If you want to stop after that, you can. He laughed, but he tried it. What happened? He never stopped after 1 push-up. Once his body moved, momentum carried him forward. Weeks later, he had a consistent habit. The trick worked not because it forced him to do more, but because it allowed him to begin. Now, some people will say this sounds too easy. They argue that real discipline requires toughness, strict schedules, and iron willpower. And yes, discipline matters. But most people never reach the point where discipline can grow because they cannot start. The 2-minute trick is not about avoiding discipline. It is about unlocking it. Once you start, discipline becomes possible. Without starting, discipline remains a dream. There is also a subtle freedom in this approach. By telling yourself you only need 2 minutes, you remove the pressure of perfection. You do not have to produce a masterpiece. You just have to begin. And often, that beginning leads naturally into creation that is far better than anything forced by guilt or fear. Many times, I told myself I would only write a single sentence. Hours later, I would have pages filled. The permission to stop after 2 minutes paradoxically created more progress than the demand to push for hours. Let us step back and ask, why does this weird trick feel so powerful? Because it rewires the relationship between you and your tasks. Instead of seeing them as heavy burdens, you see them as tiny, approachable steps. Instead of battling resistance, you sidestep it. You stop making procrastination a moral failure and start treating it as a psychological barrier that can be outsmarted. That change in perspective is everything. The strange part is that this trick not only killed my procrastination, but it also improved my focus in other areas of life. I started applying it to conversations I was avoiding, books I was postponing, and projects I had abandoned. Each time the same rule freed me, just 2 minutes. And in those 2 minutes, I found the doorway to momentum, courage, and eventually mastery. If you want to try this for yourself, here is the challenge. The next time you face a task you have been avoiding, stop negotiating with yourself. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Tell yourself, I will just do 2 minutes. Then actually do it. Write 1 sentence, read 1 page, wash 1 dish, make 1 phone call. You may stop after that, but I promise you, most of the time you will not. You will keep going, because starting is the hardest part. So here is the conclusion. Procrastination is not a permanent curse. It is a habit of avoidance that can be broken. You do not need superhuman discipline. You do not need complicated hacks. You need a simple entry point that makes action easier than avoidance. For me, that entry point was the weird trick of 2 minutes. It killed my procrastination instantly, not by force, but by making resistance irrelevant. And here is the deeper truth: once procrastination loses its grip, you gain back your time, your focus, and your power. You stop living in the shadow of someday and start creating today. The weird trick may look small, but do not underestimate it. Great mountains are moved by small shovels, and great lives are built by